is going on, all you lovely people? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Mike O'Hora, and this is a lovely penguin. Welcome back, guys. Right now, we are diving straight into our set breakdown of the song Danger. I wanted to say BTS so bad. Danger by BTS. We're going to be checking out their music video. We're going to be talking about the set pieces and the locations that they shot at. And yeah, guys, let's dive right in. And before we do, sub to the channel, please. Okay. Also, check out the Patreon if you want. Whatever. All right. So right away into this music video, we get a nice quick close-up of RM here. He's sitting at this desk. I don't even really know exactly what he's doing, to be honest with you. It's got a whole bunch of random stuff. It's got like eyedropper things and a lotion. Some notebooks, some boxes and stuff. I'm not really sure exactly what he's doing here, to be honest. I'm just kidding. He's getting ready to do a tattoo. Yes, I forgot. I saw him do it in the video, so we're going to talk about this more. But the reason I wanted to mention it real quick is that it's kind of a cool location because a lot of the shoot that they did for this music video is at an old abandoned warehouse. So this is actually in one of the freight elevators that they would have at one of these warehouses in order to bring things up and down. And yeah, they just set up a little shop in here, which is a nice little thing. You can kind of tell just because of the graded walls and all that kind of stuff that this is an elevator. And then we jump over and we see Jungkook with a piano here that he's playing on. It's a really old, beaten up piano. Wouldn't be surprised if they got this off of some sort of site like OfferUp or Craigslist or like Facebook Marketplace or something along that lines. I'm sure they have different types of services such as that in Korea that you could get an old beat up piano, because obviously you don't want to spend all that money to go for a real piano. I mean, later on in the video they're going to destroy it, and I think they even laid it on fire if I remember correctly. But it's just enough to be standing. It works. The keys kind of work. Obviously, like, we can't hear what he's playing, but it probably sounds like crap. But this is another cool shot because it's another room inside of that warehouse that we were talking about that Jungkook's going to be in, and we're going to be able to come back into this in just a little bit here. And yeah, the bench would also come with the piano as well, in case you're wondering. So if they're going to be getting a prop, then that they're going to destroy, they would not be renting it. They would have to buy out the prop. More often than not, it's just they buy random things that become props. It's not like you would go to a rental house and be like, hey, we want to buy this and then destroy it, you know? So this would just be something you'd pick up outside. And then everything else, I'm pretty sure, is just what was normally in that warehouse. And they definitely just swept it out a little bit too, I'm sure. So again, another awesome shot in the warehouse. It took me so long to realize this was V, but yeah, I'm like partially curious if that was a mirror that was actually up already, or if this is something that they decided to secure in a place. I imagine it's probably been secured in by the art department, especially because he's touching it. His face is against it at certain points. He's pushing his head against it. They wouldn't want to risk anybody getting hurt with the mirror falling down if it was already there. They have no idea how structurally sound it is. So most likely what they would have done is you can get like screw mounts that you can put on the back there, and then you can also put in any sort of adhesive like a liquid concrete or liquid nails or anything like that, and you just got to hold it there for a while and then it'll stick on pretty good, and it's not going to move at all. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can really go about it. I would imagine they probably put like some screws at the bottom and then glued it, to be honest. Especially if it's on a location, that means you can't be there like the day or two before, most likely. So probably for a day of kind of a fix, I'd imagine they'd probably put a couple screws in at the bottom just to hold the mirror up, and then just glue the back, stick it on there, give it like an hour, dry up, bada boom, bada bang. You got the mirror stuck to the wall. I was also curious about the mirror here with J-Hope as well. This is also a shot here at the warehouse that they're in, but it's a much bigger window. We get a little bit of a better shot here. And then also you can tell from the shot that they actually have another window behind him. And these look like they were possibly there to begin with. However, I mean, abandoned buildings and stuff like that, it's pretty rare to come across one that would have like fully intact mirrors, especially 2 on either side, or technically 4 because you can see there in panels. So most likely these were installed by the art team when they got here. Most likely the door and everything was already there. That was just like the doorways that they put them in. It's hard to tell what's behind there, so if there was actually doors there, they could have just attached them straight to the doors. If not, you can build a rig in order to make a couple of jacks on the back to weigh down the mirrors as well, just so that they will stand up straight and that they won't fall. So there's a couple of different ways you can go about this one for sure, but still makes for a really cool shot, especially when you get to see all of him dancing down the mirror pathway. Now this one is where Suga's playing basketball. It's again in the warehouse. It's another one of the things that makes you wonder if this was already here or not. So the doors, they were definitely here. They're part of the warehouse. You can actually see these windows have like writing and stuff on them, so they were probably there already to begin with. But the posters, those have been added in. You can tell they're a little bit too crisp and too clean for them to have been here over a long period of time. But I will say this, the basketball hoop is the thing that's throwing me off the worst right here, because you could rent out a basketball hoop or buy an old basketball hoop as well. Something that's already been aged, weathered, to the point where it would look like it would fit in. But honestly, this looks like it fits so well that like it might be original to the location. It might be, to be honest. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on this one, to be honest. So my guess is that they would probably have brought it as a prop. But I'm going like 60% they brought it, 40% it was already there. But the pictures on the wall, those are definitely posted up and ripped and spray painted by the crew, by art. Jimin and the punching bag. I will say this, we are going to come back to this because there's an amazing shot that we are going to look at. So it's in the warehouse again, but we'll talk about this one a little bit later. The subway system. So originally, when I was first watching the video, I could tell this is a set. Now, there's a few little giveaways that if you're wondering if this is how could you personally tell for the most part. First off, the pillars here, they're supposed to be steel beams. You can tell those are not steel. They are not a steel beam that you would see. There would usually be a bunch of rivets or bolts, or I'm forgetting what they're called on there. But you can kind of tell they tried to make it look like that, but that is in fact wood. And then on top of it too, this like metal netting and stuff up on top, there would be hundreds of pipes and wires and all that kind of stuff going over it, because that would be the infrastructure of a city if they're actually inside of a subway. And then to top it off too, on either side, I will say this is more of a New York thing. I'm from New York. I worked in New York City on and off for like 15 years. The subway systems over there have little pockets underneath the ledges in a subway. So God forbid you fall into the subway and you don't have time to hop back up and get out of the way of a train coming. You can go underneath and hide and wait until the train goes by, and then you come back out and hop back up. So you can see those are completely flat walls as well. And those are really the small tells that I saw personally. And then beyond it too, the tunnels themselves get eerily dark. So normally in those kind of tunnels, there's not many lights, but there are lights that will continue down the tunnel. So it would not be completely pitch black looking down those tunnels. I mean, obviously this looks more like an abandoned subway station, perhaps just a really dirty one. But even still, if these lights are on, that means there'd be lights on going down that way. But the biggest confirmation came when we watched the behind the scenes, and you could actually see that they're very clearly on a set. You can see down the pathways, there's no train tracks. There's actually a flight of stairs over down here somewhere. And then, yeah. But goddamn, is this a really convincing set? This art team went absolutely ham. They crushed this. They absolutely crushed this. If I wasn't trying to pay close attention and try to realize if this was real or not, just because some people asked me in the comments to be thinking about that while watching it, I would have immediately just assumed this was a real location. Just like if I wasn't paying attention to those small details, I would have thought this was real. So absolutely bravo to the art team. Literally crushed it on this one. It looks so good, and it's such a sick location for them for this video. So I love it. I think it's amazing. All right. So here we're back in the big abandoned warehouse that we were looking at before. This shot is, first off, super cool. Seeing the silhouettes of them with the backlighting being fire is absolutely awesome. Plus, a little effect that most people wouldn't think to do is that they're standing inside of a puddle. The water, it reflects the light, it reflects their movements, their bodies, and it just adds another dimension into this dance routine, which is freaking great. But yeah, in the back, they just have a couple of shopping carts on fire. So obviously they brought the shopping carts. I didn't get any good look at what they were using inside of those carts, however, in order to light them on fire. I was kind of hoping I'd see that a little bit in the behind the scenes, but we did not. And yeah, typically there'd be some sort of fire marshal or somebody on set that would be controlling that stuff. Typically, it's not really the art department's thing. They would just set up the shopping carts. And yeah, I'm pretty sure you can just buy shopping carts too. I think you can get them for relatively cheap. Usually just from like closing down stores or whatever. Sometimes stores just update their shopping carts and then get rid of their old ones. So they're not too hard to come by. But yeah, this again, it's something you're not going to rent because they're going to be burnt and they get a little bit destroyed with the fire. But still, it's super cool. And then I'm pretty sure everything else is just naturally here at the warehouse. But yeah, they would just have somebody with a hose just spraying down the floors in between takes, making sure there's plenty of water there. Especially with the fires and stuff in the background, it will dry up the water pretty quick. So yeah, just in between takes, they would just probably hose down, make sure the floor's still wet. But yeah, it's pretty dope. So, so we got to see this this shot a little bit earlier as well, but it's Jimin. He's punching this punching bag, and yeah, it's a big, nice open room here in this warehouse. Again, they just chained up this punching bag up from the ceiling, and this is an interesting shot. It flies by really quick, but it's really cool. So right here, this is just before he makes contact with the punching bag, and then as he makes contact, the other side of the bag explodes. Now, again, this could be done with two different ways. I personally would like to believe it's going to be the first way that I'll explain right now, which I'm pretty sure when you look at this, you can see that there is some sort of difference right here. There's like a little patch or something right on the bag there. I personally believe that they made a couple of cuts into the bag in order to make a hole in the side, and then probably filled it with some sort of flour and a mixture of sand as well, so that the flour would kind of powder up, but then there would kind of clumps of sand would come out as well. And I really think that he genuinely punched this thing as hard as he can, and then you can see the sand explode out of it. So like what I'm talking about is up here, this would be more like the baby powder or anything like that, and then like sand right here is what I mean. because it's pretty solid. And like I said, it's only a couple of frames. It's really not much that we get to see, but it's very cool. Secondly, they could have put a little explosive in there. A very little one. It's like something that, like, when somebody gets shot in a movie and then blood shoots out of their chest, it would be something like that. That also could be what this patch is right here. Which, in fairness, if that's the case, they had to actually click a button in order to make it go off, which means they timed this quite literally perfectly. So it's like literally one frame he's not touching, next frame he's touching, and it explodes. So personally, I like to believe that there's a hole cut in it so that he could punch it and stuff would come out, but they could have also used some sort of explosive as well. But still, really cool shot. Just shows him just being an absolute unit. So yeah, it's not super important, but here's Jungkook. He is chilling with that piano, and then he smashes it with a baseball bat. So it's again, it's something you're not going to be returning. You're going to just be destroying it. So it's just another set piece or prop piece, if you would. Either way, it's cool. So yeah, guys, that is actually about to do it for today's video. Really, really awesome. A very, very cool build with that train station. Oh my gosh, it's absolutely brilliant. I love the punching bag, and then also the whole aesthetic of the warehouse. Just really brought this video together to a really, really awesome and intense / dangerous feel. You know, so I think it was really well done by BTS and their crew. So props to everybody involved, all the art teams, all the production, all the scouts, and all that kind of stuff too. And yeah, guys, that'll about do it. So if you guys get a chance, please go ahead and sub to the channel. If you guys learned anything from this, please sub to the channel, because we want to keep growing and we want to keep making our videos better too. And the way that we can do that is if you support me for free by subbing. Alright, guys, also if you feel like supporting financially, check out the Patreon. It's got a bunch of free it's got a bunch of exclusive content on there as well that you can only see there, and it's really fun, so check it out. Alright, guys, I love you. Stay aggressively positive. Have a wonderful week, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye.